on, everybody? Welcome to SmackDraw's The Rewind. We are your hosts. My name is Kyle Tyson.
I got you. Thought I'd Mr. 8984. My voice is gone. It's struggling. Fuck off.
It's RN here too, man. I love messing with you, RN. Man, this is the show where we go ahead and we normally run down the week in wrestling. However, we got a week's worth of wrestling just this weekend alone. I honestly think if we were to try and cover Raw through SmackDown, it would actually drag the show down. So we're just gonna skip the last week and go start right off with Rampage tonight, and cover SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. So if you're here to listen to about Raw and last week's NXT, sorry guys, we're just gonna pass over it. We might reference it if it calls for it during the major shows that we covered. However, yeah, we're just gonna cover this weekend, man. That's really the big talking points, is all the stuff that happened this weekend in wrestling. Which, by the way, what a weekend in wrestling we had.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. I arguably one of the biggest weekends in professional wrestling in some time. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember such a stacked weekend that ran Friday through Sunday.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but thanks, Tony Khan.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony Khan. By the way, I gotta touch on something. This is how surreal of a weekend we have had, where Tony Khan and Nikki Bella are saying some really favorable and agreeable stuff. You know, I don't know if you're aware of this, RN, but Tony Khan saying high praise of CM Punk's debut. He says, not Tony Khan, excuse me, Jim Cornette. I apologize. Jim Cornette and Nikki Bella. Cornette came out and said he could have booked, I think he said something along the lines, he could have booked CM Punk's debut, but it wouldn't have been as good as how Tony Khan and them did it. He's saying high praise of it. And then Nikki Bella, of course, was being outspoken of WWE, which is unlike her publicly, essentially condemning the whole Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair incident, which we'll get into. But I was like, damn, never in a million years did I think I would agree with one of them, let alone both of them on the same weekend.
I mean, same with me. Like, we might as well just jump into it. Like, I mean, everybody knows if you watch this show, I'm not an AEW hater, but I'm also not an AEW stan like Kyle. But even just that was the first time in a long time where I felt like a kid watching the show again.
Yeah, man. Really quick, you guys, before we get into it, don't forget to follow us here live on twitch.tv/SmackRaw. And then, of course, give us a subscription on YouTube as well, youtube.com/SmackDrawPod. We have Patreon and PayPal. I have it listed here on the video stream. If you're listening to the audio realm of things, I'll touch on it later on and tell you guys where you can help financially support the show, but I don't want to drag on with plugging too many things. So just, if you could at the very least, follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, and, hit it now. And then who knows, maybe at the end of the show, if you don't like it, you can take the like back, but go ahead, just give us a like. It really helps us out, and I appreciate it, you guys. RN, let's kick it off with Rampage. Dude, it's probably been said a million times by now, but man, they perfectly did that. Rampage kicked off CM Punk's debut. They didn't waste any time, man. Commentators had just enough time to run down the show's lineup. There was about 5 seconds of calmness, the crowd going crazy, and CM Punk makes his debut. Oh man, and he's had a lot to say, but
yeah.
Damn, RN, it was something special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I'm not the big AEW guy, but that's going to be a moment we talk about 10, 15 years from now. Just from everybody involved in it, the crowd, the crying CM Punk guy. I mean, just his content in the speech, him sitting down Indian style, like with the pipe bomb. Like, it's just like, we're not going to be able to forget this moment.
Did you see the tweet that it was the original crying fan, the one who said it's still real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how quickly everyone forgot him or something. It was really tongue in cheek, but it was a nice.
Apparently too, I saw on Instagram that Tommy Dreamer was trying to figure out who the guy was, and they were going to set up some shit to get him some merch and to get a meet and greet with CM Punk for him.
Yeah, a lot of people shared, the guy's emotion. Now, granted, he
Right.
didn't hold anything back. The man was ugly crying on TV, and I don't mean that as an insult. That's just how I refer to crying when you're not trying to hide it.
When you got the snot bubbles coming and everything.
yeah. But a lot of people lambasted him. A lot of people dug into him and stuff, and were cruel. And I'm a mush. I'm an emotional guy. I didn't cry that hard, but I'm not going to shame somebody else for wearing their emotions on their sleeves. So it was pretty big bullying, but we're happy to hear that so many people in the wrestling community are rallying around this fella. Tommy Dreamer is just one of many. I wish off the top of my head I had wrote down the notes, but no, a lot of people in the wrestling industry are trying to reach out to this dude. You have people who make custom sneakers, want to send this guy some custom sneakers, like. Yeah, I'm
kind of on both sides of the fence. Like, I get it. Like, I've had moments where I got emotional, but that motherfucker was crying like his mama died on that. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, like I said, I get it, man. You can't.
Right.
It's just I understand where that guy was coming from. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and watch my top 10, CM Punk's in there. Like, he's one of the reasons that kept me in wrestling, especially the early 2000s or whatever. Like, he was one of the main reasons why I kept watching Raw.
Yeah, that's the thing where a lot of unfamiliar fans didn't understand why this was so big to a lot of people. Is in 2011, WWE was in the shitter, man, and not like they were going out of business, but they were pretty much the top dog in town. There was no real alternatives to watch professional wrestling, at least not as easy as it is nowadays. And they were so bad. A lot of wrestling fans, myself included, wanted to turn the TV off, wondered, why are we wrestling fans? This is crap, and was driving people away from the product. People were literally giving up their fandom. And CM Punk, to a lot of people, was the shining light, hence the voice of the voiceless, and he is what held on to a lot of fans. I've seen already a lot of YouTubers and big name YouTubers, including Ollie Davis himself, said from Wrestle Talk, said that, had it not been for CM Punk, there's a good chance we wouldn't have Wrestle Talk right now, which Wrestle Talk is one of the best pro wrestling YouTube channels out there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's what he meant to a lot of people. And then seeing him come back after, 7 years away since he walked away from WWE, it was a big deal to a lot of people. And you just, whether you're a fan of AEW or not, unless you're really trying to just get under people's skin, you really can't take that away from people. You can't downplay it. CM Punk's a big deal.
I'm not the AEW guy at all. Like, I'll come on here and I point out what they do shitty, which is a lot of things that people overlook. But even with Cornette, who's the biggest hater in professional wrestling, you could not have done that. From him jumping in the crowd before he got in the ring to him revealing the T-shirt. I wasn't crying like a bitch, but I literally had goosebumps even before he even said a fucking word. Literally the hairs on both my arms and the back of my neck were standing up. It was fucking electric. And I was watching it laying down on a 32-inch TV halfway across the fucking room. And you could feel the crowd's electricity, just the buzz, everything around it. Like I said, I am in no way a stan, but I stand the fuck out that night. It messed up my whole fucking night. I was so pumped. And it was hours. If I'm being honest, I don't really remember shit else that happened after. I watched the whole show. And I don't remember shit else.
Don't worry, RN. You're kind of in the same boat as a lot of people. It really overshadowed the rest of the night. Not that it was a bad night. It's just that's an act that Rampage was kind of screwed one way or another.
Right.
You have CM Punk debut like he did, and it overshadows the rest of the night. But had they held on to it till the end of the night, the crowd would have hijacked that show.
Yes.
The crowd would have just chanted CM Punk for 45 or 40 minutes straight till he came out there.
And it being only an hour show kind of held them back too.
Yeah.
Because at least if you had a decent match, you could throw out like Lucha Bros or someone out there to throw a banger to kind of fucking hold them over. But being that it was only an hour match, yeah, they were screwed regardless. And at 10 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah. No,
So
they did it perfectly. Did you see
yeah.
during the final minutes leading up to Rampage airing, Tony Khan come out and hype the crowd up?
No, I didn't see it.
So I wonder if he does this at all of his shows, because he did this in Charlotte as well. So with about maybe 3 minutes to air, Tony Khan comes out and he's just addressing the crowd. He's thanking them for believing in AEW. He's name dropping Chicago, saying he loves them. He's just getting the crowd riled up to a fever pitch, which I mean is why like it translated to when Rampage started. You know, and that was partially Tony Khan rallying the troops, essentially.
But the thing is, I don't even if he did that or not, it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah, no, it
just because of where they were, what he means to them, and like you said, it is that he really was the voice of the voices. Like that pipe bomb, and not even just the pipe bomb. All his promos, he always said what the regular guy felt or was thinking. That's why no matter if he was heel or face, why he was always so fucking popular is because people gravitated toward him because he wasn't huge. He wasn't 6'5", wasn't 300 pounds. He was covered in tattoos. He was everything the WWE was not into and against for fucking 30 years. Like that's why I've always loved him. Like anybody that loved him just felt that he was more real and like he was, if you could become a fucking wrestler, you would be something like him. If a normal guy just wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he resonates with so many people. Even still, he hasn't wrestled in almost a fucking decade.
Yeah, man. Some bullet points on what he had to say. He mentioned that he didn't have anything planned as far as what he would say to the crowd. He just knew he had to come out and feel it, is what he said, which you could clearly see that he was. The man could not. CM Punk himself was crying, while he was out there. He wasn't like weeping, but you saw tears in his eyes the whole time he was addressing the crowd. He mentioned that he was sorry he had to go away, but he couldn't stay. He could never get healthy staying in the same place that got him sick to begin with, which I think that's something anyone from any walk in life can relate to. It doesn't have to be professional wrestling.
Well, and like I went back and like reread some of that stuff and the Colt Cabana interview. Like went back and kind of listened to some of those things before it happened. Like that, they really fucked that man up. Him and Ryback both. Like even though he hated Ryback, he even said like he pretty much went through the same thing. Like that doctor almost cost them not only their careers but maybe their lives. Like
lives, their livelihoods, everything.
Right.
Some cool things that CM Punk did was he definitely put over the main roster. The very first thing he did was name drop Britt Baker, claiming how the crowd makes him feel the way Pittsburgh makes Britt Baker feel, and then also it looks like he's lining up his first feud, or at least his first match. Excuse me, it already is lined up. Darby Allin at All Out. He's got that going on, and then not to mention, he said he still has some old scores to settle. Excuse me, I can't fucking talk today. Which, man, with the amount of people back there, I mean, this is a tricky line to walk. You don't want to line up ex-WWE with ex-WWE, but there are some matchups back there from WWE that would be really cool, and AEW. I mean,
right. Well, we got to also remember too, he is a WWE guy, but he's not. We forget he had Ring of Honor, Impact. Like he was some places before he got to AEW, and don't forget Colt's still there too.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that he said, where he kind of swerved everyone, was he talked about the day he left professional wrestling, which everyone and myself thought he was referring to when he walked out on WWE, but he reveals it was when he left Ring of Honor, saying that he loved the place, but he just had to go. He couldn't stay there, and he said he felt like he had created a place for professional wrestlers to thrive. So he said that he walked away from professional wrestling, not when he left WWE, but when he left Ring of Honor. And then he returned to professional wrestling. What was this, the 20th?
Yeah.
On August 20th, 2021, he made his return, which, oh man, the crowd ate that shit up. God, the crowd ate it.
That was another thing with him. Like he doesn't really have to wrestle a fucking match. Just with his mic skills, he's by far the best talent they have on the mic. Like, I wouldn't even be mad if he didn't wrestle. Like, if they just threw him with a fucking stable, take the factory away from dumbass QT Marshall and let him run it, turn him into like a SES. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best part about him is that he doesn't have to wrestle.
Well,
every week.
Yeah, they touched on that. There was a press conference that him and Tony Khan held where they answered questions from pro wrestling outlets. They were able to call in and ask him questions, and one of the things they asked was CM Punk's deal. He didn't give it away. He said, telling you guys how long his contract for is like having you guys watch sausage get made. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Right. And I agree.
Right.
But they did touch on that CM Punk's going to pretty much do a little of everything.
Yeah.
So, he's cool to be on commentary, to be doing backstage roles. The man essentially said he is there to do whatever he can to help, And
that's the thing. There's not one area where he wouldn't fucking help.
Oh, God.
Even in commentary. Like,
I fucking
commentary
love to listen to him and Jericho in commentary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Commentary might be the best thing that he has to offer him, honestly.
Yeah. Putting You Over has joined the Twitch chat. Hey, Putting You Over. By the way, earlier, Justin, Heel Tactics, the man who composed the show's intro, he said RN sounds like Charles Barkley at the All-Star Weekend.
Facts.
I don't get the reference, but I'm assuming it's because of your voice.
I did as much drinking, maybe not as much smoking, cigars and shit, but I did as much drinking in the other for sure.
Oh, wait, is that when Charles Barkley had a bunch of like pictures of him wilding out with like chicks and stuff? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know. That's pretty much Charles Barkley's every weekend, so I don't know.
I don't know. I don't keep up with sports, man. But yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much with CM Punk. I guess really quick, we'll touch on some personal takes now. Give me 3 feuds / just dream matches you want to see.
Him and Omega for sure. Can't believe I'm saying it, but him and Moxley. And him and Ethan Page.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
2 of them going against each other on the mic. Fucking gold.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll go with I'd like to see him and Brian Cage. I'd like to see how that could play out. Mine aren't going to be nearly as good as yours because you really took the good ones. I'm gonna steal Putting You Overs. Ricky Starks. Once again, promo battles out the ass. That'll be fantastic. And then, of course, the big one that you just left behind, MJF. Him and MJF. Yeah. Those would be pretty interesting. As far as the rest of the night, man, they knew what they were doing. Nothing incredibly notable. Jade Cargill had a squash match against Kiera Hogan.
Which that part, now that you brought up, that shit made no sense. Like, she's one of the hottest acts coming in from Impact and everything. Like, I understand them trying to prop up Cargill, but like, Kiera Hogan didn't deserve that squash match, bro.
No, and you're absolutely right. They have to be careful who they book against Jade, because Jade right now in her career can only do squash matches.
Right.
She's kind of like, this is going to be I know this comparison. Oh, fuck it. Who cares if it draws heat? She's kind of like AEW's Bill Goldberg. She's got real superstar potential. She looks like she could tear apart the women's division. But you put her in a 15-minute match with like William Regal, some holes are going to get exposed in that woman's game.
Thanks.
So yeah, you got to be careful who you book her with. Yeah, Kiera Hogan had a lot of hype coming into it. I didn't know who she was. It took me forever to realize that she's not Hulk Hogan's daughter. I didn't know, man. That's Brooke Hogan I'm thinking of.
Well, she was black, so that should have been one red flag if she was Hogan's daughter or not.
Look, man.
Look. I'm just saying, we all know about Terry. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Putting You Over says WCW Goldberg or WW. No, WCW Goldberg. Yeah, WWE Goldberg is a whole different entity in its own.
We'll get to that.
What else? Moxley had a pretty fun match against Garcia. Daniel Garcia, he's someone to keep an eye on right now.
Right.
For sure. Looks like another guy like Yuta.
Yeah.
Where these dudes, they don't really have an identity yet, but like in ring wise, those guys can go. Like,
and even personality wise with Garcia, like at first, I mean, I couldn't get past fucking the Fat Bucks, him being with them. But if you like you said, if you pay attention, like you can tell that there's something there. And why would Moxley do that if they didn't all think that he had something that he could show and prove? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of gave him a kind of a cut, and I actually I want to go back and rewatch that match, but I just can't get past the Fat Bucks. Like, what the fuck,
dude? I like them. I think they're great guys putting over other talents. I mean, they're very entertaining, and the way their personalities come across is they come across like they should be losing, but they're losing entertainingly. Like, to me, I make no bones about it. I am maybe a month back into watching NXT from about a year and a half hiatus, so I didn't get to see them. What was their name? Everrise. Yeah, I didn't get to see them as Everrise.
You didn't miss anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, they were fucking complete and total trash. Like,
Hey, look, they were getting over coffee mugs. I got that much. They love selling coffee mugs.
These types of things are why people give AEW shit, because this signing and how much TV time these jackasses are getting is fucking ridiculous.
Really? They're that bad?
Yes. There was nothing good about them. Dude. Oh, yes, they are. I won't say that. You're right. They are entertaining, and they actually are pretty decent on the mic. But as far as their whole package and how they were presented and how many times they switched gimmicks, they were like fucking the greasers too. They were like Deuce and Domino, whatever, like back in the 2000s. That was one of their gimmicks. Literally, fingers, packs of cigarettes rolled up in the sleeves and shit, slick back hair.
I didn't see any of that. Okay.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, they've literally changed gimmicks like 3 times since they've been in the NXT trying to get them over.
All right. Still can't get over you calling them the Fat Bucks. Jurassic Express, we finally had a match. I think this is low key the second biggest highlight of Rampage. That's what I'm gonna call it. And it was Luchasaurus finally got a chance to shine again.
Right. Has he been hurt?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just he's been put on the back burner, what it is. But
has he been on like Dark or Elevation or any of those, or is he just?
I mean, he's constantly showing up on Dark in tag matches, and stuff. He hasn't been gone. It's just he hasn't had a chance to shine in his matches.
Right.
You know, kind of like oh God, sorry, someone's trolling me. Trying to think of it's like Cesaro lingers around. Granted, Cesaro's lingered around forever, but then when they finally have Cesaro have like a breakout match, and you're like, oh shit, look at him letting him go. That's kind of like where I am with Luchasaurus. It was just, this was a match where he finally could get his stuff in and get a chance to really shine.
To be honest, I think the dinosaur shit is holding him back.
You think so?
You can only take somebody like that so serious.
No, I got you. I'm not smart enough to sit here and say how I would book him with or without the dinosaur gimmick.
Well, my thing is, the only reason I'm saying is because I know him from NXT, and he's a big, good-looking fucking guy that has an amazing moveset and actually is a martial artist in real life, kind of like Damian Priest. Like, there's so many things you could do with him besides put him in a fucking and even if really you could keep the dinosaur mask on him, just don't have him pretend like he's really an actual fucking dinosaur. Just let him be a monster and just maul fucking people.
Yeah. I think if they could just get his character without losing the look, just get his character closer to Kane.
Right.
Just a little bit leaning into. Now he does. He has had promos in the past where he humanizes himself. Well, they gave him a microphone and then he started to growl, and then he mocked I can't remember. I think it was Chris Jericho or something afterwards. Started speaking clearly and was like, "You thought? Right. I bet you thought that's how I talk." And he explained. He's like, "I know I'm not a dinosaur, but." Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to book it. I really like the fella, though. I really do like the guy.
I think the few matches, especially when they first started airing, he was doing some dope ass shit. I mean, I remember us talking about like he did like a couple like planches and shit, and like it was either like a 450 or shooting star press or some shit. Like he can go in the ring, and like I said, he's not a bad looking guy either.
He's kind of like he's like a really athletic Randy Orton.
Right, right. That would be the best way to explain it.
Yeah. So other than that, that was Rampage. Short show. You know, it obviously surrounds the CM Punk stuff very, very heavily. Fantastic. The best episode of Rampage to date. I'll give it that. It's, you know,
Yep.
not that it had much competition. But moving on, we'll go ahead and change gears to SummerSlam. SummerSlam. I'm gonna chalk it up to this. SummerSlam was a very long, weird show.
Yeah.
This did not feel like the WrestleMania that WWE wanted. Although it had the scale for it. It was fucking a ton of people there. But the show was long. It has some great highlights I can't wait to get into. It has a lot of pointless stuff too as well. Jesus, the first 2 hours, I want to say, just the beginning of the whole show was just so long, and God, dude, you could tell when the crowd was not into stuff,
right? Which was half the show.
Yeah, man, it took so much to get that crowd going. I mean, let's be honest, the show really only had about 3 matches that people got invested into. And I'm speaking quickly. You know, RN might be able to put me in my place. But off the top of my head, we had Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Crowd got hyped for that. It died really fast.
Yep.
But then you also had Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, which I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my neck out there and say the match wasn't like terrible. Granted, there were some scary spots like any Goldberg match, but they tried.
I can admit that it was better. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but it was what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
a bunch of old ass fucking man that can't pick up a 300-pound person anymore.
Yeah, and then lastly, of course, the main event: Roman Reigns and John Cena. But let's see, man. So did you catch the kickoff match? I missed it. I just saw that Big E beat Baron Corbin, got his briefcase back.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think that's all there is to note about it. I guess at some point they rolled out Logan Paul, and then the crowd booed the piss out of him.
Like my Peacock, like I wonder if it does like Hulu where it just cuts shit out, because like I watched pretty much the whole fucking pre-show. I don't remember either one of those two things. I just remember Sam Roberts talking the whole fucking time.
Yeah, I didn't tune in till the opening match. AJ Styles and Omos taking on RK Bro. It was a decent match.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't show us anything different than we haven't seen before, but we're all in on RK Bro. At least I am.
Yeah.
And they're now your new tag team champions. So we'll have to see what we're gonna get out of that. But I'm gonna give WWE and Raw the benefit of the doubt. This is one thing that they have been booking very well, I think, is the RK Bro tag team.
Absolutely.
So I'm not gonna dump on it at all, man.
I just hope they don't do the cliche thing with Randy Orton like they always do every time they give him a partner. Like I hope they flip it up, because I think if you flip Riddle to a heel, you have better potential of him becoming a bigger star and a better babyface, especially if he's a heel going against Randy Orton.
Yeah,
you're putting him on a pedestal that it'll be hard to knock him off of if you do it that way.
And this is my idea right out the gate, which would keep Randy Orton keep Randy Orton. Not that Randy Orton has any trouble staying fresh, but keep him like feeling new. Right. Is do exactly what you said. Subvert everyone's expectations. Have Riddle turn on Randy Orton just after Randy Orton finally lets his guard down. Right. Lets himself soften up a little bit. Lets himself, reach out, make himself a little vulnerable. Randy finally lets his guard down for a moment. And the first time he does that, the plucky up-and-comer is the one who turns on him. That would be pretty neat.
Or what I was thinking was have him know Randy's gonna fucking turn on him, and when right before Randy's about to do it, Riddle strikes first.
Hell yeah, that's how we did the Becky and Sasha.
Yeah,
Or no, excuse me, Bailey and Sasha, right?
yeah.
Bailey was like, "Yeah, I know what you were doing." Bailey came out first. Sorry, I just had to yell at my kids for a second.
Yep.
I just had to mute myself. Nothing to talk about. Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie. No bullshit here. It's not.
Is it just me, or can you tell since Bray's been fired? Like, it seems like Alexa's not really into it. Like, is that just me?
I could see that she's not giving it as much as she's given other roles. Yeah, I can see that. I can not to mention, I mean, it's hard to be 100 in when the crowd just doesn't care.
And that's another thing too. Like, that's not a terrible crowd. Like, I heard a bunch of people online bitching about the crowd. Like, that fucking crowd is nuts.
Yeah.
If you look at any of those Golden Knight hockey games, even the WNBA games and Raider games, like, those aren't like shitty. That's not like a shitty city to do stuff in. Like, I think this was more about the product than it was about the crowd.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading past comments in Twitch. I wanted to see if there was any that was relevant to what we were talking about, but I think I waited too long. Yeah, and I got nothing to really note about the match other than Dewdrop was happy to gloat that Eva Marie lost and then stole her robe. I really want to get behind Dewdrop, but I need her to reclaim her name.
Right.
I need her to stand up and say, "My name is Piper Niven."
Facts.
Not this fucking name, because it makes no sense that the mentor that is abusing you, the one who named you this name, for you to be willing to go with it. That's absolute garbage. That's like if you had a high school bully who picked on you, gave you a terrible fucking nickname, and then you stood up to that bully, vanquished him, but then decided, yeah, I think I'll keep the abusive name that he gave me. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Yeah, so she absolutely needs to at some point say, that's not my name. My name's Piper Niven. That will be her coming out party, and then hopefully we'll see her stand on her own 2 feet. I believe this might be the beginning of that, but I really wouldn't be surprised if she's just forced to stick with fucking Dewdrop.
Yikes.
Bama says in the chat, he says, Alexa's giving it what she can. I truly hope she gets drafted to SmackDown, comes out like the old goddess and says, sorry, y'all, I had a case of the Mondays. Oh, man, that's fantastic. I like that, case of the Mondays. I say give her a new gimmick altogether, but definitely stick that line, case of the Mondays.
Fuck yeah.
Sheamus and Damian Priest, man, these guys knocked it out the park. Hard-hitting match, especially the second half.
Right.
And Damian Priest walks away with the American or the U.S. title. What do you think of this, RN? Is he ready for that belt? I think Sheamus was rocking it as champ, man.
But I think for Sheamus, like we've all been saying, like, I'm even coming around to like him being the MVP. Like, he don't need a fucking belt. Like, he's good enough on the mic and puts on banger ass matches. Like, and we sometimes forget how long and how old that man is. Like, he's not as young as we think he is because he hasn't aged or doesn't look like he's changed a bit in fucking 12 years. And I think a lot of it too is, like I said, is the belt doesn't do him much good to me.
Yeah. The verdict's still out on Damian Priest. WWE has some work to build him up. He's not really hindered right now.
No.
But he needs a feud. Like, he needs a real dance partner. Sheamus has been overshadowed by The Miz and Morrison when it comes to Damian Priest and who he's feuding with. So the man needs a good dance partner to
I wouldn't mind him
come
and
into his
Ricochet.
own.
I wouldn't mind him and Ricochet going at it.
Him and Ricochet, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Usos and Mysterios, fucking nothing here, honestly. It's a good match. Usos retained, but I mean, it was a SmackDown match. Like, let's be honest here, nothing happened. All right, here we go. Good shit. Bianca, Becky Lynch. So, RN, I'll set it up, and then I'll let you react to it.
All right.
So, WWE has been advertising Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair for SummerSlam. I have been just tearing it to shreds at how much I fucking hate it. But it's been widely speculated Sasha Banks was not going to be able to make it. She's not showing up at the house show. She hasn't been on SmackDown. This match was not going to happen. However, WWE was pushing it ahead and advertising it like it was, all the way till Bianca Belair has her entrance and comes out to the ring. And this part is the lesser known plot hole in all of this shit that nobody's talking about. It's not announced till she's already in the ring that Sasha Banks can't compete, which means backstage they knew this and that nobody told her. Like, how is that a good company to wrestle for as a champion if they won't even tell you who you're facing or let you know that you're not facing your opponent? So the company alone is setting you up to fail.
Right.
Afterwards, they announced her replacement, which I laughed out loud when I heard. Carmella. Dude, you could hear a pin drop in this fucking place as Carmella was coming out, making her entrance, just as we're about to kick it off and have this god-awful match that no one wants. The big reveal happens. It's Becky Lynch. She makes her return. People are having goosebumps. Bama's crying, recording his television. And we essentially get a challenge laid out, which Bianca Belair accepts. Afterwards, Becky Lynch kind of a sucker punch into a rock bottom, or the man slam, whatever they're calling it, and wins in like 25 seconds, 2 moves. And then this got heavily compared. Myself, I missed the fucking mark, man. All I thought about was goddamn Rock squashing Eric Rowan, but everyone else had the right idea. This is like when Brock squashed Kofi.
Yeah.
Fucked on his championship.
Yeah.
RN, what's your takeaway, man?
My first thought was to pull the brace card, but I'm not going to, because it just seems to be like a fucking pattern when we have the championship. But the other one is you had so many other pieces of shit on that SmackDown roster to sacrifice Becky to. All the work that you've been putting in Bianca, all the propping her up, all the showing how dominant she is as a champion, and then she loses in fucking 25 seconds. First, she's an idiot and loses to a sneak attack, and 26 seconds in general. Like, to me, it was probably one of the worst booking decisions ever, and it makes me not like Becky, which, if you go back to any of the shit, she was my favorite wrestler on Raw. I have more Becky t-shirts than I probably have anybody else's t-shirts. And the whole thing threw me off and like just put a fucking sour taste in my mouth for the rest of the fucking show.
Yeah. And so reports have since come out since Saturday, and that WWE's intention is Becky Lynch is a heel. Now, granted, this to me is just really fucking tone deaf.
Stupid as fuck.
Now, granted, some people, after hearing these reports, are trying to make it make sense, saying, well, you know what? The fans were starting to turn on Becky towards the end of her run, and stuff. But let's be honest here. You have one of the biggest stars in the company, arguably the face of the company, because Roman hadn't come into his own yet with his.
Yeah, I would say she was the biggest star at the time.
And she walks away, garnishes all this sympathy to become a mother. Now it's her comeback. And this is the same thing, because you guys, like, we forget they did this already. They did this with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
When Seth Rollins blew out his knee, and we're seeing these videos of him rehabbing, and then all of a sudden, he comes back and everybody misses and adores the guy because everyone's had time to reflect on how great he is in the ring and all these other aspects about him, and they genuinely miss the fella, and then he comes out and tries to be heel. It really fucks with the crowd, and it worked against him. It's probably the only time Seth as a heel didn't work. You know,
Right.
that's like one of the only times a face run would have worked great for him. And now they're gonna, if reports are to be believed, they're gonna do the same thing with Becky Lynch.
The thing about that too that makes no fucking sense is no one's gonna boo her.
No,
Like she's like I think Bama pointed out a thing like she was being a heel 90% of her fucking run as the man. The man started out on some heel shit, and she was an asshole and doing dickhead stuff the entire time, and she was getting the most and biggest pops maybe in the whole damn industry. Like I don't like that was another thing too. Like and then like Bama brought up like why wouldn't you put her on Raw to get her title back that she never lost?
yeah, it's just, and like I said, you can craft it all these ways, but when people genuinely want to cheer you, and according to Bama, that makes you a face regardless.
Right. That does.
And so when you have this dichotomy of Becky doing, I mean, like I said, this is all speculation. None of this has been really like solidly confirmed. But if Becky is going to be a heel and talk trash and try to belittle and just do all the typical shit and people are going to cheer her, it's just not going to come across correctly, man. It's like we wanted our feel good moment. We wanted to cheer like, congratulations, you're a mom, you know, just to have that moment of like, we're genuinely happy to see you, and to just skip that, go straight into like, hey, look, I'm a bad guy, which, by the way, other reports are showing that this wasn't audible. Becky wasn't supposed to come back till October, apparently.
Right, that's what I heard too.
Yeah, and so when Sasha was pulled from the match, they changed it about maybe a week in advance, just enough time to print off some shirts, and that was it, you know. So I don't know. It's weird. The 25 seconds is odd. Like I said, you can justify it. You caught Bianca off guard, all of that shit. We're at SummerSlam. We're at an event where people want to see. It's being advertised like WrestleMania. Okay, when's the last time we had a big squash match on a beloved character at WrestleMania? And that was when Sheamus squashed Daniel Bryan in 8 seconds.
Right.
The crowd didn't fucking want that, man. And they were pissed off. And the same thing's happening here. You know, you squash. The only time you do this at a big event is when you're doing, like when Rey Mysterio squashed JBL for the Intercontinental belt and JBL retired. That garnished the correct reaction. But having your champion that people adore right now and is building up a lot of steam, squash like that just hinders their growth, man. And I'm not saying you can't bounce back. Like I said, you can book this a million different ways. I'm just telling you, this is the reaction that a lot of us are having right now.
And my thing is too, like, why wouldn't you could have did it with Raw and then set it up where you have fucking Becky and Charlotte for SummerSlam coming into it. But you can stress that out not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. So that's 2 4-horsewomen battling over your title on Raw that's struggling anyway. Like that made the most sense regardless of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part it just all just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like you said, all this equity they've been putting in Bianca and people loving her, like not just thinking she's okay and not just getting a good reaction, but everyone fucking loves her inside the ring and outside the ring. Like, and you did her like that. Like that's the part that like, I'm sorry. Like I know it's fake and it's this and it's that and it's booking, blah, blah, blah. But like, you can't do that to somebody like her that you're building up. Like it just like I said, it just left a fucked up taste in my mouth for literally the rest of the show.
And you know what? You know how this all could have been fixed? If they had a fucking match. That's all you had to do. Let them have a match. Let them have, it could have been 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It didn't even have to be a long 20, 30-minute epic. You could have told the same story. Bianca just wasn't prepared. She was just a step behind Becky the whole time because Becky had the jump on her.
You have Becky cheat throughout the fucking match. So then you are setting up that she's a heel now.
Yes. And the people would have been more satisfied because you know what? They came to SummerSlam, like what's being hyped up as a WrestleMania event, and they got to see not only the return of a beloved character, but them actually have an awesome match, And yeah, just a big miss on that one. Other big misses, Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, it is whatever. The Raw Women's Championship, the Triple Threat actually was a really good match. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was a good match.
By the numbers though, Charlotte wins. LOL. And
And at
then
this point, like I'm starting to agree with you guys about them wheeling her out. But I'm sorry, Rhea's not ready, and that Nikki Ash shit is garbage. You saw that she was getting booed already.
yeah.
So all you motherfuckers in the chat, TC specifically, I told y'all the shit wasn't gonna work like you thought it would. Print all the money you fucking want. She still got booed. She got booed more than the anti or tweener and the actual heel. Nikki got booed more.
You know it's rough if she's getting booed more than Charlotte.
Right.
Look, Justin brought up a good point. He says the dripstick filler could have been the time that that Bianca and Becky had.
I don't even want to talk about that. Just completely fucking. I don't even want to talk about that stupid shit.
Yeah,
straight bullshit.
I love that the show, kind of like this show, really quick, is running over. I think it was like towards that match. It was they were only supposed to go to 11 o'clock, and they still ran almost like an hour over, which is crazy to me. All right, so Edge versus Seth Rollins. Damn,
Everything I said it was going to be match of the week.
It was a great match, man.
Match of the week. I told you it was going to be. You can't put these two type of guys in a match and it not be fucking great.
The Brood entrance. We got. How crazy is we got two entrances? That's how long that damn ramp was. We got.
Honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if he did like a progression of them. That was fucking fire. I thought that was kind of dope that he did both.
Smacking it Raw's Matt Ritter says he's stopping in to say hi before I get into the shower. Well, thank you, man. Hopefully you get real clean. Okay. Yeah, no, these guys killed it, man. I mean, the story in the match was Seth going for Edge's neck a lot of the time, which was fantastic. But Edge ended up beating Seth Rollins in just like an awesome match via submission, which is what I thought the correct thing was. I told you guys Edge needed a good win, and this was a good win.
I was kind of pissed off about that, but the match was so good, like you couldn't walk away thinking that Seth was a top guy, even though he was.
Kevin from Putting You Over says, listen in the shower. That's what I'm doing. What the fuck is it with you guys? A, taking showers at like 1:30 in the afternoon, and B, you listen to us grown-ass men talking wrestling. I appreciate it, though. It looks like this is our audience now, RN.
Fuck it.
Hey, man. We touched on Lashley versus Goldberg, the match itself being a little bit better than anticipated, still nothing too crazy.
He did literally 16 versions of the body slam.
Yeah, man. Hey, look at Goldberg. Look at Goldberg expanding his repertoire, his arsenal. Twice he almost dumped Lashley on his head. Although I will say the Flair, flop off the top rope, I'm going to put that one on Lashley.
Oh, yeah, that was just him. He didn't tuck soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, as scary as it was, I don't blame Goldberg for that spot. Most of that comes from the guy taking the move, not the guy, not the guy actually performing it. Now, granted, here's the funny thing. I actually felt a little bit of sympathy for Goldberg watching his son. Now I know you didn't, and you can say fuck them kids all you want, but something about a child getting murdered in front of you.
That part, I wish they had did that before now. So then the match would have had some sort of heat to it.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I thought that's what the whole point of him getting the kid involved now. Now that just shows me that he's not going away.
Well, I mean, he's already done his 2 matches for this year, but it's not like WWE wouldn't throw him a couple extra bucks. I
can't see how that happens and then he doesn't show up tonight and that this doesn't go on.
Yeah.
And what's the next pay-per-view? Isn't it Extreme Rules?
I think it's like the Crown Jewel event. I think they're going to Saudi Arabia or something. And then,
I thought they said that was October.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. They advertised those 2 shows and then Money in the Bank of all things. Money in the Bank. Oh, by the way, Money in the Bank's a stadium show now. Fucking awesome.
Let's go,
man. Money in the Bank. That's how you do it. Money in the Bank for me is my top 3 for me now. It goes now Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, and then no, SummerSlam, then Survivor Series. Survivor Series has dropped down to pay-per-view number 5 for me.
Yeah, and them putting it in a stadium show too showed that they finally are admitting that it is a top 5. It is one of the
top
Big
4.
five.
It's a top 4 now. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
man. Survivor
I think
Series
it is
is
too.
granted. Survivor Series, the second longest pay-per-view you have had running. It just doesn't garnish fucking hype anymore, man.
Well, it's too close. And if they keep doing it where it's like Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, you got something there. But for the most part, it's dead storylines that aren't going into fucking Royal Rumble. So it's like, I don't want to say it's an off pay-per-view, but like you don't do the traditional Survivor Series matches or anything anymore. And when you do, it's a bunch of fucking jobbers that don't mean anything.
Well,
So it's
not only that, and we're already running long, so we don't have to go too far into it. But not only that, they actively destroy active storylines in order for Summer Survivor Series, because you'll have people that are feuding, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of their feud, now they're teaming up because of brand supremacy. Not to mention, Survivor Series always follows the brand split so closely that it makes no sense why people would be proud of the brand they're on. You were just fucking traded to it. You probably have more loyalty than to the brand you were traded from, So that's the thing, is it just doesn't make much sense in today's wrestling. And they haven't tried to make it make sense, other than it's just red versus blue. And sometimes yellow, one time yellow. And then I guess, okay, so that leaves us just the Roman Reigns. Yeah. Roman Reigns and John Cena here. Did you ever think John Cena was going to win this?
I did until Friday night.
For real?
Yeah.
What made you change your mind?
The setting up, him saying that if I don't win, I'm leaving WWE.
I don't know, man. I was looking at Roman. I was like, maybe he did get a spot in the new Fast and the Furious movies. It's becoming like anybody that's had ties to The Rock gets a spot in Fast and the Furious now.
He's already done that.
Yeah, he's already done it. That's right. Yeah, man.
Like I said, I thought John Cena was winning this match, and then they do some smart shit to get the belt back on Roman, because I knew that Cena was gone or whatever after this, and that this was just a one-off. But I until literally that last 5 minutes of SmackDown, I thought fucking Cena was winning.
Yeah. It didn't stop it from being a pretty good match. I mean, honestly, it wasn't even that great of the match. Just those guys know how to finish a match.
Right.
The first 2/3 of the match was kind of like you're by the books. However, it was Cena. It was the closest thing to Suplex City Cena's been to.
Yeah, he was
Roman was cutting his offense off like the whole time. I do feel bad for the live crowd during this match, though, because a lot of the match was the character work Roman was doing, talking into the camera, which that doesn't translate to the live audience.
Nah.
No, yeah. But yeah, no, all the false finishes and everything. At the end, Cena still succumbed to, I think, just one spear. He took 2 Superman punches and 1 spear. That's all it was to put him away. It still had me hyped. I enjoyed it. It definitely got me by the second half. I was really, really digging it. And then we got the return, or the debut, whichever way you want to look at it, because I've been just dubbing him Viking Brock. Fucking ponytail and beard. For one, I've always thought Brock should rock a beard. I love his fucking blonde beard that he had in UFC. I thought he should always have that shit. But yeah, Brock's out there, and now we got Paul Heyman stuck in the middle, and I love this dynamic.
My thing is, though, like, who the fuck's gonna talk for Brock? Brock is terrible on the mic.
So as a joke, I was like, Brock Lesnar needs to show that he's over Paul Heyman by grabbing like a rebound manager, somebody he doesn't really care about, just some like trophy manager he can show off in front of Paul anytime. And the guy doesn't even talk for him. The guy just stands there.
Go get Robert Stone. Fuck it.
Yeah, go get Robert Stone. That's just the appealing thing about this. I don't care about Brock versus Roman. All I care about is Paul Heyman's custody. Like Paul Heyman in the middle, man.
Go get Stokely Hathaway or whatever. Malcolm Bivens.
Malcolm Bivens, yes.
They cut half his fucking stable anyway.
Yeah, why not, man? That's all I'm saying. Oh man. Uh-oh, we got raided by the bots. You want to become famous. Yeah, Brock's back. They didn't do anything. Just him and Roman stared each other down. Paul Heyman looked very scared. And they left. And then off air, Brock Lesnar just murdered John Cena and sent him back to Hollywood. Just it was good, man. Like I said, the show had some high points, but it was fucking long, man.
Yeah,
it was long. Speaking of long, I know we're running over your break. Do you want to cover TakeOver, or are you too pressed for time?
No, we can knock it out. Let's get it done like less than 10 minutes.
Well, I don't imagine there's as many talking points, but yeah, we can go ahead and cover it. Cage side, great. Just trying to pull up anybody's notes here, just so I can just see the matches. Now, I didn't come in until Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, so I missed everything before that.
What the fuck was it for? I didn't bring it up.
Cameron Grimes and LA Knight was the only one I regretted that I missed.
That one was a dope match. It went about as good as we thought it was gonna go. Grimes won for sure, like he should have.
Yeah. Yeah, Grimes won. I love Cameron Grimes. I've come out and said it. I said as a person, like I know if you guys are any hardcore NXT fans in here, look, I apologize in advance. I'm just getting familiar with NXT again after about a year and a half away from watching it. Cameron Grimes and LA Knight are my favorite things on it. Like it is true. I mean that even over Samoa Joe. Not that I don't love Samoa Joe. He's a close second. But I fucking love Grimes, dude. And LA Knight. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So like I said, RN, this is where I'm just kind of like by the books. These two have good chemistry. Kind of sloppy though. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, it was probably the sloppiest match I've seen from Raquel Gonzalez. Like, yeah, it threw me off how I hate to say it, but how terrible this match really was. Like, was
it that bad?
Oh, it was probably 5 or 6 like bad spots.
I must have.
That might be on the wrong side.
I don't know, man. Maybe I was distracted by like the ridiculously pink hair of Dakota Kai.
Right, and the fact that like you couldn't see her face for 90% of the fucking match, like because how her haircut was or whatever. Literally, you could not see her face or any facials or anything. So, it's like I don't know. This match just didn't do shit for me.
Well, anyways, Raquel won. What's that powerbomb move she's using? What's that called?
I don't know. Damn, will probably know.
Let me see. Do they have it listed here? Fuck. It's not really entertaining to watch me read on screen, so no. Oh, by the way, kind of risky them calling Dakota's kick the Yakuza kick. Like, I don't know, man. That strikes me as kind of controversial, but.
I don't, because the guy that made it is fucking Asian or Japanese, and that's what he called it. So
I guess so, man. Just naming your kick after like a Japanese mafia just kind of was like, ugh. Well, anyways, dude, let's just be honest here. Let's be honest. As good as Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross were, it was just a Karrion Kross match, and Samoa Joe won. He busted out the Muscle Buster. We're all happy for it, man. The Muscle Buster's back. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, decent. Not enough people talking about how like the fact that if you're in a 2 out of 3 falls match, like all of a sudden you can't last more than 5 minutes in the first fall when you normally can go like a half hour without getting pinned. But Kyle got booed out the building, even though he was the baby face. And
that was gonna happen.
Yeah. But really this whole event, I could honestly just talk about Dragunov versus Walter.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
And that was another thing too, like the weird placement of that. I was like, they clearly must not have saw their fucking first match, because you put that match on the fucking card, it doesn't matter. Like you said, even with the Samoa Joe shit, like the takeaway from this pay-per-view is Walter and Dragunov, flat out.
Yeah. If you didn't know, now you know.
Right.
But But yeah, no,
Kid,
these dudes beat the piss out of each other. And then I guess now granted, I've only seen a couple Walter matches. I've never seen a Dragunov match because
right,
I missed the week that he faced Pete Dunne and lost.
right.
And then I saw that he beat, I think, Roderick Strong last week, I want to say, but I missed that one, unfortunately, as well. But dude, these guys, they killed it, man. If I was to break down this entire weekend and say you had to watch a match, that's the match. You know,
Be that or Seth and Edge for me.
Yeah. If you had to watch a moment, it's CM Punk. But if you had to watch a match, it's Walter versus Dragunov. That match was just it's match of the year. I mean, it's fresh on our mind, but that is easily
their
match
last
of the year
one
for
was.
me.
Their last one was match of the year too.
Yeah.
That's what I said. You could the NXT. They didn't think that through. Like they either were just blind like Vince is to fucking NXT with Raw and SmackDown. They had to have been blind to NXT UK because that match. Like I don't understand what they were thinking, especially putting crossing them last. And then after all that, like, fuck you.
My money is that they weren't confident in how well people know the two guys.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all I could think is they were just like, man, these are UK guys. We know they're fantastic, but probably no one knows about them. We don't want to risk people tuning out because they don't know who they are. So
right.
I get it. Dragunov surprisingly choked out Walter, made him tap, which was just looked fantastic how he did it. He's your new NXT UK champion. I think Walter's going to be on main NXT now.
That's what I was saying. Like I said that when we did the picking the show or whatever. And it had to have been that because, like I said, fucking the rest of Imperium's been here for 90 days, 3-4 months, off and on, really all through quarantine. They were here.
Yeah,
hell, they even won the belts during quarantine. Now I think about, I forgot.
And if the reports are to be believed about the new vision of NXT, I mean, it's not even to be believed. Nick Khan was just interviewed by Ariel Helwani. No, it's true. They're doing away with the indie guys. They said that experiment's over. Bigger stars, bigger guys in general, literally. Walter fits the mold, and there's no shame in that, you know. Just because you're big, like, you know.
Well, he fits both modes for me. He is an indie guy, but he's also what they're looking for.
Yeah, and he has that it factor too. There's no denying that. That
he feels like a star.
Yeah.
Like whenever you watch his match, even in that loss, it felt like Dragunov beat a superstar. Like,
yeah, climbed the mountain.
Right.
But yeah, man, NXT was a fun watch. I'm glad I tuned in last night. I honestly, I had a fun time. It topped off a weekend where I was exhausted. I didn't even want to watch it initially, just exhausted. But I'm glad I did for that match alone, and also because to see Samoa Joe's back.
Right.
Also, side note, fuck the CWC. I feel for NXT, man. I know right now is probably a low point for any of the wrestlers in NXT because you have Nick Khan and Vince with getting their fingers in there, wanting to change things up, and then, dude, the place you work is just full of some bad fans. Like, just
I try to not even like pay attention to the fans because they don't make any fucking sense. They're just terrible. Like sitting on their hands through most of this stuff. Like even it took them most of the Dragunov match for them to get into it. Like
chanting for Jeff Hardy and now granted, hopefully Cross can use the reaction to the crowd to evolve his character some more, but just God, dude, that was just what a way to end a great weekend of wrestling with such shitty fans. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, and I feel bad because they're not going back to what was the place they were at?
Full Sail University.
Full Sail, yeah. They're not going back, man. It's just terrible fans. But you know who's not terrible? You guys listening. Hopefully we kept that like button light. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to support us financially, man, patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast, where you can subscribe. We have rewards. I think Bama says he's going to touch up the site, make it look really nice. And then, of course, you can always hit us up on paypal.me/SmackDrawPod if you just want to throw us a couple bucks, man. But, yeah, I appreciate it. I got to go school shopping. My kids start school tomorrow, RN.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Mine started last week, so I'm glad we got that shit done with.
yeah, man. And I know you got to go to work. So we're going to go ahead and sign off, you guys. Make sure to tune in Thursday for the She Lead Showcase with Katie, and Savannah. That's going to be fantastic. And also, be on the look on YouTube. We might have a new reoccurring segment, the Mute RN segment. It might be debuting very closely. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. But until then, you guys, like always, y'all have a good one.
Peace.